go back.
I just wanted them to learn what's going through their body and like what the medicine is doing.
Using your target for attack.
Every Tuesday we went to LucasArts and we worked for about 2 hours saying, okay, what should we do here? So he got ideas and I got ideas. Cool.
Yep, the voices.
But channeling Ben's ideas for a game about cancer wasn't always child's play.
Building fun is difficult, and when you try to build fun where the antagonist is cancer, that's almost impossible. I don't think that it could have been done if Ben had not been so mature and articulate.
After 6 months of work, Ben and Eric finally had a game.
Ready? Go grab it.
The game is about you're a little person on a hoverboard who shoots cancer cells.
Players also collect shields to battle monsters.
This monster is guarding the barf shield, and his name is Robarf.
Ben's way of representing chemo side effects like hair loss and nausea.
The robot is throwing giant green globs of barf. It slows you down.
The object of his game? Put the cancer in remission.
All right, should we,
Yay, sword!
Yeah, the sword's better.
Underlying the game is Ben's optimism. No player ever dies. The reason?
You can't give up in cancer. If you just give up, you won't stand a chance.
That was quick.
Maybe you should make it extra hard.
Yeah.
In 2004, Make-A-Wish made Ben's game available as a free download on its website. And his wish became a gift to young cancer patients everywhere, including the kids at this treatment center in San Francisco.
It's a good game because it's kind of like you're fighting your own cancer cells off. I just don't feel good every time I get knocked down with chemo or that stuff, and it feels good to blast them away.
I feel really good that actually people are playing it and actually liking it.
Yeah, you want some of this?
And people around the world are playing it. Ben's game has been downloaded from the Make-A-Wish website over 200,000 times and is now available in 9 languages.
Coming up, virtual worlds get real and really popular.
A lot of people have always wanted to be somebody else. And you can create whoever it is that you want to be there.
That's next as Game On continues. Game On. The unauthorized history of video games continues.
Whether it was Barbie or G.I. Joe, girls and boys have always played with some sort of doll. But in the past few years, they've been putting them aside for a video game, one that grown-ups love too. In fact, they've made it one of the best-selling games of all time, The Sims.
The Sims is really kind of a, in some sense, a dollhouse come to life.
Will Wright, the creator of The Sims, has been called one of the most important people in gaming, entertainment, and technology.
Will Wright is Albert Einstein with a sense of humor, and that's part of what makes him good. And what he really likes is to see how things work and to tinker with things.
I always liked constructing things as a kid. I spent a lot of time building models. And when I started learning to program computers, I realized that computer was just a different way to build models. I could build models that actually had behavior and came to life.
Before bringing The Sims to life, Wright invented its predecessor, SimCity, a game which, as its name suggests, lets players design and build a city. He got the idea for it while working on a conventional action game,
which was kind of an arcade helicopter game where you were flying around bombing these factories and islands. I had to create this world of islands and roads and little buildings, and I was basically having more fun building the world than I was bombing it.
But he didn't have that much fun when he tried selling SimCity to software publishers.
They said, okay, now, how do you win? How do you lose? And there was this kind of struggle because they expected there to be an end to the game.
The game sat on the shelf for several years until Wright formed his own publishing company, Maxis.
I'm going to put in some industries right now.
I'm going to put a school in.
Let's have a new map.
Released in 1989, SimCity became such a hit that it spawned dozens of spin-offs, including The Sims, a game that allows players to create virtual human beings and manage their virtual lives.
Some people play it kind of as a spreadsheet for life. They kind of play out little scenarios, you know, what's going to happen if me and my boyfriend go over and do this.
But here's another scenario. What would happen if instead of a virtual dollhouse, you could play with an entire virtual world and be anybody you wanted to be in that world?
How about a backflip?
Wait a minute. That's my favorite one.
Welcome to Second Life, an interactive 3D digital community that exists only online at the Second Life website. Everything in this virtual world is imagined, created, and owned by its players.
Second Life is an online world that is really the answer to the question, what if we could use computers to simulate the whole world?
Philip Rosedale is CEO of Linden Labs, the San Francisco company that launched Second Life in 2003.
There's so many things in the world that we'd, like to be able to do if we had the time or we had the right tools and equipment, but we can't. In Second Life, you can do those things. If I want to become somebody else, I can just drag who I want to be right onto my body.
In Second Life, as in many online games, you create a digital alter ego known as an avatar.
What have you always wanted to do? Well, a lot of people have always wanted to be somebody else. And you can create whoever it is that you want to be there. It's your fresh start.
But to live well in this virtual world, players must spend real money to buy things in it. For instance, all the artwork in this virtual gallery is for sale.
And the total amount of goods and services that people are selling to each other in Second Life is currently about $5 million US a month.
He's not talking monopoly money. Second Lifers are using real cash to buy virtual items that only exist in cyberspace. Just like kids buy clothes for their dolls, Second Lifers buy wardrobes for their avatars. The market for these virtual goods proved to be a bonanza for Jennifer Vatsa.
Okay, I'll show you one of the Victorian outfits that I made.
She opened a dress shop in Second Life to help pay her family's real bills.
There were times I would just be, my eyes would pop. I'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe how many, of this one dress I sold, or I can't believe people are spending money on this stuff.
Her husband Tim uses Second Life to offer companies a new way to train their employees.
We have started to use Second Life as a training platform for our new recruits. We've built a virtual three-dimensional gas station within the world itself, and we use this to train our new recruits to show them how a gas station works under the asphalt.
But if you want to make a real killing in Second Life, the answer, as in real life, is real estate.
So the most successful entrepreneurs in Second Life are buying and then redeveloping and reselling land.
One of the most famous land barons is An-Che Chung. She's been making more than $100,000 a year selling virtual property. But not all the acreage in Second Life belongs to land barons. A large number of universities now own property and are actually teaching genuine classes in this virtual world. And here's yet another virtue of playing in online virtual worlds.
I honestly think that if my friends started playing World of Warcraft, they'd have a boyfriend already.
This woman speaks from experience. A few years ago, Sarah Eagle was at home in Philadelphia playing the online fantasy game Asheron's Call when her avatar suddenly became a damsel in distress. But among the thousands of other players also online in the game was Chris Lai in Seattle.
Someone was yelling for help that, oh, I'm trapped in the Dungeons and Shadows, I'm lost, I don't know how to get out, and I'm probably going to die if nobody comes down and helps me out.
He was there about 10 minutes later, and he saved me.
Sarah and Chris started talking and kept talking over the next several weeks.
Oh, I wonder what kind of bird that is.
It wasn't long before she said something like, oh, well, if you're not doing anything, you know, in December, why don't you come out and visit me? And I was like, sure, what the heck?
They had such a great time that Sarah decided to move to Seattle to be closer to Chris. It wasn't long before wedding bells rang.
My Prince Charming.
Oh, God, don't use that. Incoming Fire Lord.
And they've continued to game on happily ever after, playing the online hit, World of Warcraft.
Oh, I crashed.
Coming up, visions from the visionaries.
It's only really now that we're kind of reaching the zenith of this video game culture. And so we are living in the video game world now.
New worlds to conquer. Next, as Game On continues. To Game On.
What the video game industry demands more than anything else these days is more money, especially with production budgets reaching $10 million and above for a single title.
You're getting into Hollywood realms of financing. It's even worse than Hollywood in the sense that you don't get the second and the third and the fourth bite at the apple. You don't have the cable sale, the DVD sale, the foreign sale, the TV sale.
But one extra slice of revenue that has come to the video game industry is in-game advertising. Mitch Davis is the CEO of Massive Incorporated, the leading company in the field.
We do billboards, posters, and the typical type of outdoor advertising that you see within the virtual world.
Consumers have been raising their hand for years for authenticity. If you can think of how bizarre it would be to watch NASCAR and not see a logo on a car, it wouldn't be real.
For advertisers, it's an opportunity to reach an elusive audience.
Men 18 to 34 had stopped watching television and moved increasingly to video games. Now they're playing games 2 hours a night. That's 4 times as much as they're watching television. So if you're Coke or McDonald's or one of the big movie companies and so forth, then you need to be in video games.
Besides advertising, another way to earn more money is to get more players. To Sims creator Will Wright, the key to the industry's future is to move beyond the guy gamers who play all the time.
We've been catering to a hardcore group for the most part over the life of this industry. And those people, you know, were expecting the games to get deeper and deeper, and it was a 10-hour experience, then it was a 20-hour experience, then 40 hours. But I think that as we hit the mass market, we're getting a lot of more casual players coming into the market. They want something that they can pick up and play for 10 minutes, 20 minutes at a time, put down, pick up again later. Games need to become a little bit more flexible in terms of the type of players that they entertain.
Wright believes the solution is allowing players to build their own game worlds, which is exactly the premise behind his newest game, Spore.
Spore enables you to play in your world, create your own world, create a species, and get them to a point where they leave their planet. And then once you leave your planet, you connect to the internet of a universe of other planets created in the exact same way, and you get to go explore other people's planets.
Players love making this stuff if we give them powerful enough tools. You know, to them, that's as enjoyable as the game. And if we can basically give the players that role, they become co-developers with us.
In the game industry's ideal world, everybody would have a video game device. The truth is, that world is already at our fingertips.
The suitability of the cell phone as a video game deployment platform is just spectacular. And as the screen technologies increase, and the memories and the hardware in those things increase, that's going to be a dominant form of video game delivery, because it's with you all the time.
The founder of Electronic Arts, Trip Hawkins, is a firm believer in mobile